Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, comrades on YouTube, my beautiful family, and my beautiful love of my life. Hello to one and all. Miss y'all. So, kind of a change of events from the plan. The last we spoke, the plan was I was going to be in a motel for a couple of days, a couple of nights, and get my windshield replaced and do a 34. Would have worked out great. At least in my brain, would have worked out great. I had a plan, got foiled. Got a phone call. They said, hey, look, can we, it's not in the crack in your windshield, which I've discussed with y'all before, very low, kind of even and lower than the windshield wipers. It's not in your field of vision. Can we we'll fix the air leak. We'll have you ready to run by noon. Got a little load for you to Washington. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So we got the load. It was a load of beer going to a distribution center in Kent, Washington. So yesterday, finally got out of the yard about 2, and I parked in Ellensburg, Oregon? No, Washington. Ellensburg, Washington. And I had to get a little bit creative on the parking job. Somewhere in this video, I'll show you where I parked. But I was outside of the truck stop, it wasn't a corporate Flying J. It was a mom and pop Flying J, kind of a privately owned thing. Flying J comes in, buys them up, puts their little food mart in there, puts signs all over the joint. Now it's a Flying J, right? Had showers, restrooms, a restaurant alongside of it. So it was a nifty little spot. But when I got there at almost 8 last evening, there wasn't a spot to be had. I want to say 137, 138 stops at that, parking spots at that stop. Not one to be had. So I made a loop all the way around the joint. I went in one, the last entrance, because there's 2 entrances. You can go in either one. You can go out either one. I go in the last one. I make a loop out this way to come back out. It's a good thing I made that loop that way. So I stopped, and I looked across the street, and I see this truck parked over there across the street. And I swear it's across the street, kind of an optical illusion, because I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my truck, and I'm seeing cars go by them, and they're in front of that truck when they go by. So I'm like, what the hell? So I got out of the truck, and I walked up to the street, and lo and behold, man, this dude was parked at the same entrance, across from the same entrance that I went into. And off the pavement on the shoulder, it's kind of a wide shoulder. We're 8.5 feet wide. It was enough for about 4 trucks to park in. So I said, that's where a brother going. That's where a brother going. So that's what I did. I pulled out there, pulled in right behind that dude, and stayed there all night long. No problems. I went inside to get something. I don't even remember what I got. And I asked the dude behind the counter, I'm like, hey man, did anybody get hassled for parking across the street ever? They're like, no man, when we're full up, they go over there and park there all the time. Right on. It's what I want to hear something. It's beautiful. So that's where I parked for the night, and it was just fine with me. I left this morning. It was a real simple U-turn. Right back onto the little highway I was on. Got onto the 90. Stopped at the next Flying J, which I knew wouldn't have any spots. Got some fuel there and rolled. Went up over Snoqualmie Pass. I wouldn't want to do that in a snowstorm. I'll assure you that. But But I did Cabbage Hill and Snoqualmie in this load. That particular runs. Snoqualmie is beautiful. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't mean to butcher it if I am, but what a run. Beautiful place, man. My goodness. Mountains. It was pretty windy, but I didn't care. Sunny, partly cloudy, dry pavement, no ice. It didn't remind me of Wyoming a single bit. Okay. Anywho, got all the way over the pass, dumped down into the greater Seattle area, got into Kent. Earlier on, I had called my brother-in-law, Brother Jimmy. Good days, huh? And he didn't answer to begin with. It was a little early, but I know he's at work, but it's just he was probably busy. So I pull into the distribution center in Kent, and he calls me back. And he says, "Hey, you bored?" I said, "Well, no, but I'm in Kent, and I'm at the distribution center on 59th Place South." And he's like, "Dude, I'm 10 minutes from there. I'll be right there. I'm the boss. I can do this. I'm out." So he takes off and comes over, and just as I'm bumping the dock, he pulls up in his pickup. So it was nice to see my brother-in-law. This is my wife's brother. Beautiful guy, man. We just love him. And it was cool to see him, man. We got to visit, but only for about 15 minutes. I mean, that's just how it goes. But it was nice to be able to see him, and I wouldn't have otherwise seen him, in March, the end of March. Just wouldn't have happened, without a big plan. You know what I mean? So this fly-by-night gig, man, you sail into a town, you sail out of one. It's pretty fly-by-night. So anyway, I got to see Jimmy. If I can, this is where his photo will go. We'll see. So anyway, big problem for a brother, though. Rookie move. I went ahead and took the load, which puts me in Washington. The backhaul for this load was in Oregon, Clackamas, Oregon, at the Fremont distribution center. Okay. Last night I looked at my hours. I had like 29 hours when I accepted the load, and I thought, it's not even 500 miles in each direction. I should be okay, Didn't account for up the mountain, down the mountain. And down the mountain is not fast, folks. With 79,000 on my back, it's the heaviest load I've ever hauled. I'm going down the mountain slowly. Cabbage Hill, great example. I heard a guy once say, you can go down Cabbage Hill 100 times too slow, but you go down it one time too fast, you got problems. It's a 7-mile, 6% grade. That's a long 6% grade, y'all. And did just fine, kept it around 40 mile an hour. Jake's on and wasn't touching anything, just let it roll, and it hung in there in 10th gear, maybe, I think it might have been 9th gear, and just let it go down the hill by itself under Jake restrictions. Went great. It was a really, really good downhill pass. But then you got to go back up, and then you go back up, and then down, and then back up, and then down. And man, I'm telling you, my average speed was slow with a very heavy load and a lot of hills. So by the time I got done, I only had 16 hours. And I still got to go to Clackamas. Well, I was stopped in Ellensburg, and I still had to get to Kent. That was 120 miles. And a Snoqualmie Pass. More hills. Lots of mountains in this area of the Pac Northwest. Anyway, I got my load unloaded, and now I'm down to almost 13 hours. And I'm scared to death. I called the dispatch and said, man, I'm sorry to add to your all stress today, but looks like I'm gonna. Rookie move. Rookie move, man. I didn't plan well. It's my fault, and I have no one else to blame. I don't know what to do. And the gal says, you know what? I think it's going to work. Just take your 10-hour break and then, roll on. Okay. That's all I needed to hear. I just need some reassurance from the folks that aren't rookies and know what's going on. So anyway, got over to the Fred Moya. Load's not going to be ready until at least 8 o'clock tonight, probably 9. Well, so now I'm in a Fred Moya supermarket parking lot about a mile from the DC because I couldn't stay there, which is fine. I went to the store, got some provisions. So here I sit in a parking lot in Clackamas, Oregon, and the head's swiveling, folks. Let me tell you, I've already seen some shady characters around here. So, not far from Portland, so use your imagination. Anyway, I gotta wait here. I can't even leave here until 1 a.m. Get over to the DC, hopefully get my load in short order. Hopefully it weighs out well and doesn't have to be reworked. And then off I go. This time, though, not going to Caldwell, going to Boise, which is even further. It terrifies me. It's even further than Caldwell by 30 miles, 1/2 of an hour in a big truck. So hopefully I make it, man. I don't know. I have 7.5 hours to get there, and then back to Caldwell. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try like hell. If I have to pull over in a rest stop and call them up and say, hey, I'm either here for 34 hours. Well, there's just not going to be any way about it. You're going to have somebody come and get this load, or it's going to be here with me for 34 hours and I'll deliver it when I get there. I don't know what else to do. Man, I hate doing that. That's a bad move on my behalf. It's nobody else's fault but mine. I could have declined the load, and I should have declined the load, but I thought I had it. I just didn't realize how to calculate everything, or that route. I just didn't calculate mountains up and down. So anyway, tomorrow will be the test. We'll see. I'll let you know. In other news, I went ahead and pulled the trigger, talked to Mama about it, told her, hey, this is a work tool, and this is expensive. This is $900. $900. Okay. I don't know how to use it yet. I have used it. On this trip, I used it in its most primitive settings. The most basic settings that are possible, because I don't know how to do anything else with it. But the features that I did see while I was using it in its primitive mode were bitchin'. Whew, man, this thing is awesome. It really is a truck driver's tool. There's no question about it. Way better than Google. I'll tell you that right now. I've been jammed up a couple of times with Google, and I would have been jammed up again today. Going to Fred Moya Distribution Center here in Clackamas. It had me going, I don't even know where. This one dialed me right in, man. It's designed for truck driving. So I'll keep you up to speed on it. I need another accessory. I need to get another mount for it. It comes with a mount, a couple of them. That's one of them that sticks to your windshield, which is what I prefer. I don't want to stick anything to the dashboard because this isn't my truck. And who knows for how long I'm going to be in this truck with 479,000 miles on it. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I need something stuck to the window. The problem is I don't like where it's at. So I'm sitting driver. It's like right up to my left and way high. It's easy to see, but I feel like I'm, on a left-hand curve, I kind of have to look around it. It's not a bad vision obscurement. I can see all of my mirrors just fine. It's not a hindrance in that sense. It's just that on a left-hand curve, I'd rather, I just kind of have to put my head around it a little bit so I can look far enough out to where I like looking. I don't like looking right where my headlights are or where my headlights shine, that radius. No, I like looking further out, like way out, especially with 80 grand on you. So I don't like where it sits. I got to get one that has a holder, I guess. I don't know what you call it. If I do know, I don't know now. Okay. I need a longer arm on it, and I saw Kevin's setup on the Joy of Trucking. Kevin has his setup in front of his steering wheel, attached to his windshield, with a real long arm on it. It looks like it's just sitting on his dashboard. That's a nifty way to have it right there. I would love to do it like that. I don't know if that's the difference between a Freightliner and a Peterbilt, but my Pete kind of has a longer throw between the steering wheel and the windshield, so we'll see if it'll work, but I would really rather do it that way. I need to get it hooked up to my headset, which is a Rand McNally, which I really do like. Now I've got this Garmin Diesel 1010. It's the top of the line unit. So I just figured, I'll give it a go and see how it is. And again, this is not, I don't take spending $900 lightly. So I had a discussion with my love about it, and I'm like, well, it's a tool. There's no doubt about it. And she's like, dude, go get it. Got to do what you got to do. I don't need to get tangled up in a cul-de-sac with 70 feet of truck behind me. I don't need it. So, I don't know the areas that I'm going to. That's the thing. Once I get off the interstate, I'm in, Wizard of Oz land, man. I don't know where this thing's at. So I got to follow the yellow brick road a little more, astutely. So anyway, I'll report and gather as best I can with the new Garmin Diesel 10. That's 1010 to our Spanish-speaking friends. And I'll keep you posted on how I like it. Got to learn how to use it, though. So here I go. Yeah, Clackamas, Oregon. The head is swiveling, folks. Swiveling constantly. Oh, yes, indeed. And it's also true, and indeed, you know who love you. It's your boy. It's Clydesdale. It's Leonard's Express, baby. We trucking. Even if we run out of time, we trucking. Hang on with me. Take care of yourselves and do good to other people. Peace.